the four-time former AEW Women's World Champion, Toni Storm.
Statlander, who hadn't had a AEW Women's World title match in 4 years since winning the title. She certainly made it count.
Side headlock takeover by Toni Storm. As Statlander in predicament. Barely a one count though, says referee Aubrey Edwards. Nigel, are you surprised to see Toni Storm coming out of the gates a little more aggressive than Statlander?
No, I don't think so. I think that speaks to how much respect Storm has for the woman who, let's be honest, beat her for the title when so many others had failed. Toni Storm said she's slain beasts, belt collectors, forever champions, and then went on to say she loved every single disgusting, sweaty, sexually questionable second of it.
Now, lateral press. Toni Storm able to kick out, but Statlander immediately into the front face lock. Storm maneuvering her way out. Attempts Toni Storm's side headlock.
Certainly Storm, since losing the title, has felt somewhat like a fallen star, if you will. Cover.
Second cover here too.
Said that she is not finished with Stat, and that she aims to become the AEW, the first ever 5-time AEW Women's Champion.
Well, you know what? I think we can all say, and this is not a knock on any of the ladies in the women's division, I think Toni Storm elevated the women's division by becoming champion.
No doubt about that.
Statlander tried to control Toni Storm, but Storm using the legs to scissor the head of the AEW Women's World Champion. Statlander kicks free, back up, ducks underneath, tried to bait in Toni Storm for a swing and got it. Now Statlander side headlock.
And some great technical wrestling exchanges in the opening here. Neither champion nor challenger willing to adopt strikes. Statlander, who talked about the prestige that Storm had brought to the AEW Women's titles. It's hard to step into that position as champion after so long. How Toni Storm had redefined herself, bringing prestige to this title just by being herself.
Statlander sweeping out of the legs, the leg of Toni Storm twice consecutively. We saw a little glimmer of frustration on the face of Toni Storm, and again dropping her down. Statlander standing tall, and Toni Storm once again returns to that side headlock, trying to grind the head, the neck of the AEW Women's World Champion. There's the frustration bubbling over.
Yes, sir.
And shoulder tackle.
We heard Toni Storm saying that the ghost of wrestling past whispered to her. Remember what they said?
And Toni Storm on the move.
Oh, that cleaned her out.
Statlander spills to the floor. And now Toni Storm swinging DDT from the apron, avoided. Statlander, the grip underneath the legs, behind the knees. Oh, Statlander sends Toni Storm face first to the apron.
Storm tried to block that with her arms, but still, like you said, Excalibur, the face hit the apron.
Statlander showing her athleticism, landing on her feet.
Great body control there. To a real risk, would not have taken much for Storm to move out of the way. Just watch this, you can see Storm here, lying away, just bemused, didn't know what was coming.
Yeah, I think Toni Storm's still rattled by her face striking the corner beat of the ring apron on that catapult. But now Statlander hoists up timeless Toni Storm, and just always impressive displays of strength from Kris Statlander.
Powerful and unforgiving Kris Statlander here. God, certainly looks like she's got the beating of the former champion.
Just dumped her in the ring. Whoa.
Now Statlander falls. Oh my God! I'm just squished.
Oh my God.
1, 2, and a labored kick out by Toni Storm.
Oh. Now Aubrey Edwards got to check in on that one because she Toni Storm got nailed.
Statlander really getting all the body weight behind the center.
Following it up with the scoop, the slam, and the lariat. Oh, great cover there. using the body positioning of Toni Storm after the lariat, and Statlander, Nigel, I think she realizes there may be an opening there after the senton, targeting the ribs, the midsection, putting a squeeze on with powerful legs.
Yeah, probably a smart decision once you feel a body part where you can cover. Yeah, got to focus on it.
There's these powerful legs, the knees, clenching the ribs.
A little hand fighting for Toni Storm, freeing that left elbow to drive it back into the jaw of Statlander, but Statlander now, almost like a rear naked. Does not have the hooks all the way in. Toni Storm doing a good job of maneuvering to her feet, peppering. But wow, Statlander rips off a big lariat one. Just a 2 count, barely though.
That was solid. That clothesline just reverberated through the body of the former champion, Toni Storm. With her face, she looks like a mix between the Joker and the Phantom of the Opera.
Statlander on the move, but the boot of Toni Storm awaiting the champion. Back suplex.
Needless to say, it's very obvious, but Statlander's in command here, guys.
Statlander, the leap off the bottom rope, the splash, the cover.
Really, perhaps looks like Toni Storm has indeed found her murder. Look at this. I thought for a second perhaps Statlander is calling for it.
Oh my God, steps right over Toni Storm.
Statlander is known for a 450 splash.
Corner 1, 2.
Easy.
And once again, Nigel targeting the body of Timeless Toni Storm in Statlander with those splashes.
Well, that is the sort of strategy that is going to keep the AEW Women's title around Kris Statlander's waist. As Toni Storm here really has struggled against a powerful opponent. But
Toni Storm, though, took that moment of appeal to the audience by Kris Statlander and countered the champion.
You can't be one of the greatest women's world champions ever without being able to take a punch and come back.
Storm has absorbed a lot and right now unloading on Statlander on the ropes.
Toni Storm battering the champion, the elbows into the jaw. Hammer throw, reverse. Statlander looking for that high roundhouse kick. Didn't find it, but Toni Storm. Oh wait, Statlander breaks free of that grip. Soul blood, boot to the side of the head, and now Statlander from the cravat, driving Toni Storm face first into the mat.
Yeah, double. Face first to the mat, but twisting the neck with that cravat as well.
Uppercut, Stat on the move, charging in, looking for the knee, doesn't find it. And Toni Storm, though, finds the DT.
Follows up, here it comes. Oh, no.
Double underhook.
Storm Zero.
Statlander able to kick out. I don't know if we can get another look at it, but there was a violent impact on the back of Statlander's head when she came down.
Yeah, it wasn't a high drop, but just watch the impact here. Back of the head, the neck, into the mat. And there wasn't a lot of mustard on the kick out, but thankfully for Statlander, nothing pinning her shoulders to the mat.
Exactly. She didn't have to have much, Nigel.
Here it comes, looking for it. Storm Zero.
Oh, Toni Storm looking for the Storm Zero.
A punt there by Toni Storm, and now the hammerlock, the cover 1, 2, and Statlander able to kick out.
Storm making sure that she had her hands on the shoulders of the champion.
For Statlander, she makes her home among the stars, but she was seeing stars after that one, Nigel.
Whoa.
Oh, hip attack, nobody home.
She had the wherewithal to avoid that. And now, with the strength. Storm nowhere but
And now Statlander, we've seen her add the submission hold to her repertoire recently. And Toni Storm in very deep water here.
and the torque on the shoulder, the right shoulder of Storm. You can see the vicious angle, the striations on the deltoid. Storm is
Now the Dragon Sleeper. She's got the Dragon Sleeper locked in.
Recourse right there.
Toni Storm was able to pivot on that left hip to get the right boot on the bottom Statlander once again looking to carry the weight of her opponent. Toni Storm slips free now. Look at that TCM chicken wing. Got her happy now. All the way to the body scissors.
Well, in the center, pretty close to it. Take a look, can't see the face of Statlander. That would usually tell you how much danger she's in.
So she's got strong legs again, and she gets to the ropes.
And it was Statlander's turn to pivot to the ropes to force the break. We didn't get a good look at the grip of Toni Storm, but Nigel, to me, it looked like she was maybe only interlocking.
Now the statement maker locked it. The statement maker. Now the STF locked it.
Trying to control the
The
legs.
STF.
And now, look at this. Kris Statlander attempting the submission hold out of the Abe playbook, but instead, the roll-up, the cradle. Oh, so close.
Toni Storm tried the first blow.
A variation of the Blue Thunder bomb. Statlander has the challenger rattled the inside. Driven down. It's Toni Storm. The cover is made. Again, Storm able to kick out.
We're taking a look at two of the most popular wrestlers in AEW right now. You can hear the fans chanting each name. They love them both. And take a look at what these two ladies are doing.
A high angle drop there, back of the neck, across the shoulders, hooking the leg to secure it, but just not enough. Toni Storm wants to wear the AEW Women's title again.
A record-setting 5th time for timeless Toni Storm. Was she able to defeat Kris Statlander here tonight? But easier said than done. The former champion, very unsteady as she tried to rise to her feet, instead elects to batter the champion with right hands. Statlander. The thrust kick, T. Harris.
Oh, she's got caught.
Oh, Kris Statlander, look at the Saturday Night Fever.
Good body control by Storm.
And launched her to the middle turnbuckle. You were right in there with that one.
Storm Zero.
Did you see what she posted, Nigel?
She protected her neck. She knew the Storm Zero was coming, put her hands down to protect her neck.
Statlander from Long Island, not Staten Island, but she still protected her neck, and now setting up perhaps for the area.
450 splash.
Wow, what great strategy from Statlander. It's all well and good having the power, or in this case, boom, the agility, but the research, being able to have a counter for one of your opponent's most devastating finishing maneuvers. Well, that might be the decision maker in this one.
Now Statlander looking to invert Toni Storm once again. Storm, German suplex.
Strong legs, got it over.
Toni Storm on the move.
Another Storm Zero.
Statlander, very light kick out.
Toni cannot get frustrated, but as you can see, she really is right now.
Nigel, sometimes if you have a counter like that to your opponent's finisher, where Statlander posted her arms down, then the second time it comes around, you second guess yourself. Is Toni Storm going to bob, or I thought she was going to leave?
She didn't get a chance to think about it because Storm enacted it there, dropping down as quickly as she possibly could. And as you say, it gave Statlander no time to think. Come on.
Statlander rolls through, rolls up, and now, oh, wait a second,
And now the seatbelt. The seatbelt.
Storm able to escape.
This time it's Storm who had it scouted.
German suplex, Toni Storm, the momentum carries her through. Statlander celebrating too early.
Storm may be on the verge of regaining the title. And just as I said that.
Discus lariat, and now Toni Storm inverted the leg.
Saturday Night Fever.
Fever. And now center of the
And on the Dragon Sleeper locked in.
She wants that submission victory to prove it was no fluke. She is no fraud as the AEW Women's Champion.
And she is in the dead center of the ring, right on the E, right there.
wrenching back on the head and neck of Toni Storm. Toni Storm trying to roll forward, trying to get Statlander into a pinning predicament. Statlander, though, that kick out allowed Statlander to even tighten the grip further, Nigel.
Look at the face of Toni Storm, beet red. That blood has all been forced into the head.
Oh, look at that left hand.
The gloved hand. But it's starting to go limp.
Oh, look at her. Statlander reaching behind her own back to try to interlock her hands.
Oh, slap on the midsection, slap on the hand. Tightening the grip.
We're bridging, trying to get a little bit of space around her neck. Toni Storm is desperately trying to stay alive in this match.
Statlander punishing the challenger. Just all desperation by Statlander.
Storm was talking trash. She said something about a murder.
Statlander abandoned ship and now
Another Saturday Night Fever.